Welcome to 50's AF podcast with your host with the mostest, Nicole Chanis. And we're starting off with a cheers of tequila. Tequila! Today it's going to be a little saucy. I'm just warning you. Whether you're watching, listening to our podcast today, you're going to be in for a real treat. So, as I say, pick your drink. We got ours. It's tequila.
Cheers.
So whatever drink of choice, whether it's hydrate, coffee, I don't give a shit, wine, whatever you want. We're about to unpack a shitload, and I do mean a shitload about dating in our 50s from different perspectives, right? Okay. I have the great, awesome pleasure, this woman, of introducing today's powerhouse. And I do mean she is a fucking powerhouse guest. She's literally the book cover for the most accomplished, in my opinion, dynamic, inspiring, I do mean all these things, and badass bitch.
She's so cool.
You're a badass bitch. And I now have the pleasure of calling you my friend.
This is true. So quickly it came to, right?
Oh my God, so naturally. So with that, welcome, Becca.
Thank you, Nicole. It's awesome to be here. You know what? 50's AF is long overdue.
So fucking long overdue.
So overdue. Yeah.
So longer. So, we're going to dive in. Ready to dive in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should we also tell them that I'm going to be 60 next month?
Yeah. What an inspiration.
So
come on.
do I still qualify for 50's AF?
You're not 60 yet.
I'm not. So let's rock.
And you know what I realized, honestly, Becca, as part of this is, yes, it's 50's AF, but a lot of this applies to younger and older women that are dating.
Amen.
So, yeah, that's what I call it. But, it does, as the listeners will and statistics show, that it's going across the board. It's just not 50, and it's not just women. So, Becca, what I would like you to do, and I apologize, I didn't say your last name. I want to hand off to you. I want you to say why you're in my hot seat today. What is it about Becca that's in my hot seat today?
First of all, it is hot. It is hot being here. It is awesome being here. I guess I got invited because I am a badass. I rule in the fitness industry, and I have been for 40 years. But I think the big thing is the mindset. So privileged and proud to be here. I have created the Power Band system, which is a 3-band resistance band training system.
Okay, wait, guys, I have to say though, real slow.
Yeah.
There's bands out there, and then there's Becca's bands. And what are they exactly called?
So it's Power Bands. But
Okay.
I will say, and thank you for saying that, because guys, I train guys with these bands too. So there are 3 bands, a glute band, which you've seen all over Amazon. This is not one of those. This is a 90-pound torquer.
Wow.
This one is called the Sexy Flexi.
Yeah, I can see why it's a sexy flexi.
They feel like, here, feel it. Tell me what it feels like to you.
Oh, okay. I'm feeling a little dildo action going on here.
I thought you feel a little familiarity there.
Yeah.
And so,
oh, this is good shit. It's not hard enough for that, but it's got the same. Yeah, it's
here,
got the
then
same
feel
feeling.
that one.
Okay.
So that one is the Beyond Band.
One. Oh my God. I haven't done Pilates in 2 weeks. Shit.
So this one torques 3 to 12 pounds. That one torques 18 to 40 pounds. And the reason it's different is just because of the muscle group that you work it on. So the bands train every single solitary muscle of the body.
I have to ask you.
Yes.
Let's reel it back for a second. What got you here on this journey to do this? And what about this can you tell the audience as 50-year-old single women, why, you're here with these, these wonderful things that can help them. But we've talked about like the emotional state of dating in our 50s.
Yeah.
It's not just about body image. And I know you are so connected into that. So let me just reel it back a little bit and have you talk about your journey a little bit that you're willing to share with us.
I'll share it all. It's all out there. I'm an open book, and I think that's one of the things that makes the brand so genuine and relatable is that I do share and I expose it all. Juicy, not juicy. I say it as I see it. So yeah, I was born with 3 congenital health challenges: spinal, pulmonary, and digestive. And so
wow, I'm sorry.
It's you know what, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here because I became the duck. Right,
Okay,
my story.
amen. Okay, making lemonade out of lemons.
All my life. All right, let's go. So I never thought about it as any detriment. I do remember when I was 19 playing at the University of Florida throwing javelin. Big kudo for UF. Any Gators out there? Yeah, you know, it was at that point where I realized nutrition was a key factor and supplementation. And so I ended up taking a job at GNC so I could quickly learn about all these things.
Okay.
So I became like a self-professed healer for myself.
At a young age.
At a young age. And I realized I changed my food, I changed my supplements. I started supplements instead of medication. And it did take a while until I was able to get off all of it. And you'll notice my voice is a little bit raspy.
Well, mine's raspy. And for those of you in the audience who haven't figured out by now, I always have tea, I have water. They can't figure out why I lose my voice. So Demi Moore, thank you very much. Anyone that wants to associate me with that, I'm all for it.
Well, we're twin on the voices because I have some damage to my left lung. So it's just been...
I have damage to my lungs too.
Some people may say I'm damaged to my brain, but here's the deal.
Hardly.
Here's the truth. And so long story short, been training 40 years now, been a coach for 40 years, trained over 30,000 people in my 40 years. And it's just getting started. Let me just finish and say that the bands were created because of massive neuropathy from lots of accidents. I got hit by cars 3 times on bikes.
Oh my God. 3 times on a bike?
Yeah. So
Did you have a helmet on?
I did. It cracked off.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, no. It was, we're going to make a very long story short. I ended up not being able to lift 10, 15, 25 pounds anymore. So I had to go to resistance bands.
Okay.
And I created a system because none of the other bands were good enough. I couldn't hold the grip. And these you don't need a grip for. So these are equally comfortable around your hands, your feet, your wrists, and your ankles. So that's how these bands got created.
And just so you know, viewers, you will be able to have a link on my website to directly link to not just the bands, but other things that Becca does. But so they will be a direct link on it because look at her body. Give me that. All right. Listen. And her legs, everything. And I remember I subscribed to that kind of a band, but like I would sit there at the airport when I was single in my 30s, whole different ball game. And I just would like not want to give up working out. So I would sit there waiting, standing up with my legs, with the band. People would look at me sometimes like this. They're so great because you can pack them in your carry-on bag and literally exercise. Like if you have a delay at an airport.
They're lightweight, transportable, but we're so sisters. I have people in airports doing workouts with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like see? I grab people. I bring extra bands and people do workouts with me in the airport.
Oh my God. See, okay. Yeah. I did not even know that. And I said that.
It's a funny story. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You could do it at your desk. You could do it in your hotel room. These are amazing.
Okay. So
let's move on.
So a lot of your clients are in the 50s.
Most are in the 50s, 60s. I have some in the 30s. I even have college students. So I coach college students as well because of the factor, especially what you're saying, the mindset. You know, they are so off the charts with their hormones, with their 50s? Scheduling. No, even the kids. So my clients have their children hire me.
Wow.
So I do have college students who, you know, they're excelled college students. They have too much on their plate. They're stressed out. Dopamine is
everything.
Dopamine.
Sex. But let me ask you. Yeah. So when you are nurturing a woman in her 50s, as a coach, as a fitness coach, it's not just physical, it's mental. Because I know I've heard firsthand how so many women are like, thank God there's a fucking platform to talk about the shit that nobody wants to talk about. Because so many women in their 50s are like just feeling despondent. And part of that is it's not just about dating. It's themselves. A lot of steps back. So when you get a client that's a woman single in her 50s, I see a lot of women and talk to a lot of women that are like, I just stopped dating. And like they'll literally have their head down and they're just feeling like it's me. Well, you know what? Don't blame yourself. Let's start with no blame game. But there are things to boost your self-confidence. And I think, Becca, what you do, tell me about like, how's that journey with women, dating in their 50s and getting their confidence back, mind, body, and soul. Because it's a three-way.
Absolutely.
Like a three-way. Isn't a party without a three-way. I don't subscribe.
You're
I don't
crazy,
subscribe.
Girl.
I know.
All right. But, it's not just that. So women are left by their husbands. And so in their brain, they are left by their husbands versus given the freedom to grow and expand, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's the language and the words that we put around it. So women who come to me who are left by their husbands, we change the vernacular. We change their story. We change the landscape of how they're thinking about who they are. Mm-hmm. And it's not based on who they were. Mm-hmm. It's who they want to become. So
along those lines, I had to go with this journey. So once, look, I was I'm a lion mama bear. Okay, don't get me wrong. My kids are older and I'm still a mom. But when I got past that, shuffling the kids left and right and soccer, lacrosse and student government, everything kids, because I had twins. It was all at once. I became an empty nester. Boom. And we used to be like the hub house where everybody hung out. So then, I'm like, great, it's our empty nester years. And unfortunately, we only enjoyed 2 years of it before my late husband was diagnosed with his illness. So that was a journey I had to go through. And so when he passed, I didn't know who I was anymore. If I'm not a mom and I'm not a wife, whether it's divorce or widow.
I'm listening to this. This is deep, and so sorry about that.
Oh, thank you.
But look at what she's become as a result.
Well, you know what? It didn't happen overnight, and that's the thing. It doesn't happen overnight. Was it the hardest thing one day to just take the covers off and say, you know what, Nicole? If you don't do it, no one's going to do it for you. Get up and fucking start. So,
that's so true.
A lot of the women in our 50s are dealing with an identity crisis a little bit. What am I? Who am I? What am I interested in? So when you go to, finding a relationship and dating, until you can kind of identify who you are as an individual, love yourself as an individual, confidence comes in many different flavors and how you put it out there. But you really need to work on those things, which is what you do. So like when you have those clients, how do you raise them up?
One moment at a time, one thought at a time, one day at a time, one reset at a time. Every day is a different day and an opportunity to change the way you're thinking. I wasn't so far from that. Similar, but not. I mean, I had 3 young children. My husband said to me, you know what? I don't need you to work anymore. Don't work. You've worked your whole life. Don't work. Well, you know what? When I owned an ad agency, I had owned an ad agency for 11 years. When I owned the ad agency, I never had on my card CEO, president, whatever. I just did what I was supposed to do. My team did what they were supposed to do.
Why would you have that? Why would you not have it on the card?
Because I didn't need a title.
So you wanted to be on equal.
I just was.
But it was a mindset for your whole staff that we're in this together.
We're a team.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I like that.
It wasn't good pickup. It wasn't about they work for me. We work together.
Yeah.
And it was so like that. When I stopped working, people would ask me, what do you do? Right? People always ask, what do you do? Not what do you like to do? What do you do?
Yeah.
Big difference.
Big difference. Huge difference.
And I would say I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I used to own an ad agency, as if that gives me credibility, credentials, and who I was. And neither one is who I am. Right. They're all parts of the journey.
Yes, it is.
But it took a divorce several years later for me to really rework, reestablish, redefine who Becca T-Bone was, because I lost myself along that white picket fence.
Oh, hell yeah.
Big time.
Boy, did I lose myself.
Yeah. And so I'm all about like sending out the message now to the 20, 30, 40-year-olds. 40, you got to jump on if you haven't jumped on yet, but really the 20, 30-year-olds, you need to establish who you are. You need to understand who you are, what you bring to the table for yourself. And it's a partnership of a journey shared, not a singular journey.
Can I just interrupt something here? Because I just spoke to Becca before we started about this, and I'm just keeping it light. Sorry to interrupt about that, darling. All right, to all you influencers in your 20s, fuck you. Okay, now all of a sudden we got used to doing this like baby doll makeup shit, and now you want to turn it up and switch it up on us, and now it's like mob boss makeup, like The Sopranos. I don't even fucking know what that means, soprano makeup. You tried to take our generation away from skinny jeans. Never was going there. Like, can you just stop? Like, we need like to address women in our 50s. Stop trying to look like the 20-year-olds. Don't let them influence who you are and your appearance. I mean, like, yeah, there's trends or shit, but like, why do we have to always change? You know, our generation, here's the difference. Sorry, guys. Our generation grew
If they
up.
only knew what I was wearing under the table.
Okay, ready? Let's see if we can
Should we do it?
Yeah, there we go. We got our high. So we ain't no grannies here, okay? All right, we're just not.
I don't think I wore these in my 20s though. You know, like I think I've actually just like come out of my shell in the last 10 years, to be honest with you.
Oh my God. So when people will ask me, because I did have a divorce first, and then, so I was single in my 30s for a short period before I met my my late husband, and it was a fairy tale marriage. And it was very different dating in your 30s and 50s. And here's the thing. What a lot of women don't realize, and it sucks, is they think dating in their 50s is like a death sentence. And in reality, what I'm hoping we accomplish on talking about whether it's health, mind, body, soul, seeing a therapist, working with yourself, it's all about understanding how powerful you are in your 50s. I mean, when I say powerful, I mean powerful. I mean, because here's the difference. When you're 20, 30, you really don't know what you want in life yet. When you're 50s, for the most part,
But you think you do.
But you think you do, and trust me, I hear it. But, you know, the other thing is, I don't mean for this to come off wrong, but our generation kind of was like, our parents checked out, like latchkey. They were like, just be home when the, lights go on. And there was none of this.
The cowbell.
Yeah, the cowbell. I had a cowbell once.
You would leave in the morning, you'd go out and play.
Yeah.
Right? And somewhere you ate lunch.
Yeah.
If it wasn't at your house, they knew you were getting lunch. Yeah. And you would come back when it started getting dark.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So true. And it was like no cell phones. It was none of that shit.
They couldn't track you.
They could not track us. There was none of that going on. And so you're talking to a generation that comes from a different perspective. We've had to, at a young age, kind of like be strong. I think, and I think enough women don't remember that strength that they had growing up before getting married, before raising kids. And
sounds like we had the same kind of parents, you and I.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Another conversation.
Toxic parents. Not going to go there on this one.
But you brought up something really strong, Nicole, and I want to just step back into it. And it was, what's so different in our 50s? I mean, first of all, and I had a conversation with a girlfriend the other day, guys, we need to know that everything's going on for you. And guys, you need to know that everything's going on for the girl. Like, there's different things, anatomy. Anatomy. Anatomically is where I was going. Mm-hmm. That need to be conversation. Like,
okay, let me
conversation.
I'll take the hit on this. My brand can take the hit on this. We're dry in our vaginas, and men have problems getting erections, mostly starting in their 60s. And, that's a real issue that does come into play. And, women should be enjoying sex. Oh, my God. When I was with Mr. New Year's Eve, I will say one thing that probably kept me with him, best fucking sex I ever had. And what I noticed is my skin was good. I felt good. I mean, sex is like, yes, we all want to enjoy, but it also affects our body chemistry.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of women in my group, so I don't want to say like I am a hormone therapy specialist, but I never had to go on any hormones. I use food and supplementation, and I show my clients how they can too. Even the men, I show men how to stay strong and supportive of their female friends. We'll leave it there, right?
Okay,
or you take it.
No,
we got the image.
Yeah.
Right, and so, hormones are very important. And they're not just about sex, though. They are about sleeping good. They're about your waist. They're about your productivity. They're about your mindset. Like, hormones aren't just sex.
No.
Your hormones are important. And so, the older you get, they go down. You need to make sure that everything
goes back up.
Thank you.
No, it is really interesting because, being dating in your 50s, I know you don't deal with this. After being a caretaker for my late husband, oh shit, people wouldn't even recognize me. And I was going through menopause at the same time. And having like menopause arms and feeling sexy, kind of hard to do. I mean, but women need to understand you're not alone in that. We all feel a little insecure what the hormones do to us. We start getting a belly, but there's natural remedies. And I subscribe to the same thing as Becca here. What it took for me, and I have autoimmune issues. I technically have 5 now. Holy fuck. And I get to be the unicorn on one of them. Like only 100,000 people in the world have it. Yeah, me.
What's that unicorn title?
I don't know. Badass autoimmune disease person. But here's the thing. I got off all medication, kind of like what you were talking about. I got into gut health and I got into anti-inflammatory. And for me, I live intermittent fasting. And I drink a lot of water, a lot of water. And I don't drink alcohol. And if I do, I do drink alcohol, but it's only going to be tequila for me. I learned my energy wasn't as good when I drank wine, whether it's white or red.
Because of the sugars. The sugar, you zoom up and then you dip down.
Yeah.
And then you have hangovers and there's sulfites in them. And there's a lot of reasons for it.
Yeah. So what have you been coaching these women as they are trying to get their confidence up, trying to be confident with a body that they may feel insecure about, and maybe not like motivated to start dating? How do you coach them through this?
So I have a simple 8-week program. And in the 8-week program, we start from the beginning. We move all the way through every single solitary topic, from food to mood to scheduling yourself, prioritizing yourself. I call it FLY, first love yourself.
Wait, say that again slowly.
FLY, FLY, first love yourself.
Oh my God.
You had already expressed every category within loving yourself in the first 5 minutes of your segment.
I have to say, though, do you feel that some people don't really understand what that means, loving yourself first before you can find love?
I don't know that they don't understand it. I don't know that they give themselves the time to work on it. Yeah. I think there's a difference, and it's work. I could have invested in Kleenex tissues, big plug, because I went through so much, diving in, cleansing out, honoring what I did good, not good, what was done to me, not done to me, what I needed, I didn't get, the whole 9 yards. Every single solitary person that was impactful in my life.
So you know what? I heard on a lyric on a song, I have a get ready list when I'm getting ready that just pumps me up and shit like that, makes the juices going. And yes,
get ready for a podcast or get ready for a date?
I actually do it for both.
Okay.
I do, because I want to get into that my groove.
Yeah.
And so this line was, the truth will set you free, but it'll fucking piss you off. And I thought about that. And therapy, for example, it could be hard, but stick with it, because you learn a lot about yourself in therapy. And it sometimes is very hard and hurtful, but if you don't heal yourself and your emotions and help on that journey, finding love, therapy is just one tool to do that. And I'm sure you subscribe to that.
No, 100%. Well, I'm a coach. I'm a lifestyle coach. And so I do help people go through all that. I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist or anything like that. I use herbs and supplements. I'm going to plug Life Extension.
I was about to say, what's your number one herb? Or is there a number one? Or do you have 3 that off the... And again, everybody's chemistry is different.
It depends on what's going on for them. But one of my easy go-tos is GABA.
GABA?
G-A-B-A. You know GABA?
No.
Okay, so GABA It supports hormone balancing. It supports calmness, and it also supports like sleep, but it also supports like balancing your dopamine. So it has a lot of other things, but GABA is like one of my go-tos. For some of my crazy crazies, if you're listening to this and you've been told to use this, don't think anything of it personally. I don't think you're crazy. I just, you have crazy shit going on.
No, it's called monkey brain. That's what
I call it batshit crazy.
Okay, I call it monkey brain because my brain doesn't shut off.
Yeah, and so when that happens, and we all go there, there's the pause button, and it's not taking anything except for air.
Oh my God. So I have to just say to you, I have a shit pile cocktail I take to go to sleep because sleep is so important for my autoimmune, and that emotionally and in my mind.
Magnesium's in there, I bet.
Yeah, but it took a lot. No, we're talking about prescriptions. I mean, like I'm that girl that the doctors look at and go, really? You take all this at night? I'm like, yes. Because if I don't get 8 hours sleep, my autoimmune go out of remission. And so what you're talking a lot about is also about how sleep, I'm not, and that's one thing. I got to just say, dating in your 50s, that's kind of fucked up, is we own our own homes, okay? There are a lot of beautiful, strong, beautiful is in the eye of the beholder. Let me first start that. But there are a lot of beautiful, strong, accomplished women in their 50s, and they fucking know what they want in a relationship. So guys, you're missing out on this because a lot of these 6-year-old guys think like, oh, I want to date a 30, 40-year-old. Go for it. You want to know what? You know how fast that'll go by? You'll be bored. And you know what? Life isn't just like that kind of sex because they're going to want to go to the clubs when you want to sit down and like travel or talk about intellectual stuff. And they'll be like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, well, they may give a really great blowjob, and that's going to get boring after a while because women in our 50s can probably give a pretty better blowjob because, we've been doing it a little bit longer, and we kind of know the techniques, and we also kind of know the anatomy on, like, men and how to make it not a boring blowjob. But, the point I'm missing or saying here is that guys in your 60s that think that you should date down and not date 50-year-old women, you got it all wrong. Because women in our 50s, we got it together.
Those guys who are in their 60s who are going for younger women, they're obviously just freed from their nest. They haven't had the craziness that they wanted for a long time. I'm gonna take their side for a minute.
Okay, go for it.
Most guys that I meet, they're very attracted to the 50s. Almost 60s.
Well, look at you. Who wouldn't be attracted to you? I mean, come on.
I actually just got picked up by a 34-year-old. So flip the vernacular.
Yeah.
But it's not. That's not really what I was going to say. I also wanted to say, we're on the opposite ends, and there's nothing wrong with taking prescriptions. There's nothing wrong with understanding your body. I have a client who has massive ADD, and she just took stuff for it after battling herself for years. And we did try things. So there's times and places for that. I went on the other side because I was born taking all these meds. I missed 20% of my young life on meds. So for me, if I can avoid a med, I do. And I do sleep good, and she's right. I mean, sleep is, some people say, I'll sleep when I die.
I hate when people say that.
You're going to die early.
I actually find that annoying. I'll sleep when I'll die. You know what? We never know God's plan. If you believe in God, you never know what your journey is. But I will say one thing is it's your one life. It's your story. You're the main character.
I love it.
And if you don't make that story come true, who else is? Yeah. Do you think Mr. Right is just going to fucking fall in your lap? No. I mean, I talked to a woman the other day.
Wait, so do you work for it? Like, how do you find the right guy, Nicole?
So, I never
I'm trying really hard.
I don't actually talk about my dating life for a reason, because if I talked about my dating life, would I ever get a fucking date? Taylor Swift, let's face it. I mean, she talks about all her exes. I mean, so if I actually got on here and talked about my dating life, I wouldn't have a dating life. So, and again, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a sex therapist, just like you. I'm not a doctor.
I think we should talk about the dating life a little bit.
Okay, I'm gonna. So, yeah. So, I met this woman though, and I was interviewing her, and she said she hasn't been on a date in 10 years. And I said, why? And she's like, I'm just over it. I'm over it. And let me tell you what I'm over. And I talk about this on a few podcasts. We come from different angles on this, which is like, so when we were younger,
yeah,
and the way we would meet people was at a party, a friend's house. That was led
or a friend would say,
Yeah, I got the one. But it kind of was led with chemistry. Chemistry is what first caught you.
Barons.
Yeah. So today, for the most part, where we start is dating apps, Facebook app, so you're learning, chatting, talking. And the last thing to happen is to see, well, do we have chemistry? It's flipped. Yeah. And you know what? There are different ways of looking at that. And I believe in this theory called, to answer your question, pre-dating before dating. And some people don't like it. Well, fuck you. Okay, don't do it. But what I like and what works for me, it works for me, is if I find that somebody catches, first of all, guys, don't send a woman a wink, an emoji, or a smile. A real man, if you're interested in a woman from an app, write fucking 2 sentences.
Thank you. If you just say you like me,
yeah,
I ain't liking you back.
No, I'm not answering you. And I actually have capital letters on my profile. Do not send me, I will not answer. It doesn't matter. They still do it. Or the guys.
What else shouldn't they send?
Yeah.
Don't send a picture.
Oh my God, please.
Please don't send a picture.
Okay, let me go over the picture thing.
Don't send a naked.
And women, men, or both sides are to blame on this. You know what? If you post 10-year-old pictures, 8-year-old pictures, whatever it is, and women using those filters or the special sparklies or whatever you put on, by the time you go on that date, everyone's starting off with a lie.
Yeah.
And that's why
really good way to start a relationship.
Yeah, really good way.
Yeah.
But that's also why people are unsuccessful with dating, is because it's like they're on this wheel of this pattern. And if you don't, continue, if you just keep continuing on that pattern, there's going to be no change. So you need to go, what am I doing differently? So what I mean by pre-dating to me is, yes, you start off socializing, texting, I try not to do deep in Google, but I look at their interests. Like for me, you must have adult kids. It's just something I'm going to look for, and as part of that journey for me is not just texting, not just talking, we are getting on FaceTime.
Immediately. I don't even, what?
Okay.
I'm immediately. I will go to 2 levels of a text, ask a question or 2. I usually ask first of all, where do you live, right? Because where do you really live? It's not always accurate.
Would you ever be open to moving though for the right guy?
I guess I haven't met the right guy yet, so I can't answer the question.
No,
as a
I
yes.
ask you because I've had some guys.
Mountains, if the mountains are California, I would move.
Yes.
But I'm not looking in those areas.
Well, I opened up, sometimes I open up my geography for that reason. I know somebody personally that did meet somebody totally a Ohio or something. And he was her Prince Charming, and he bought her a place in Florida so they could go back to see her kids and grandkids. So it's something that is to consider. Maybe if you're.
I tried that in my 40s. I think right now, for me, I need to see somebody, I need to taste them, I need to feel them, and not once every 6 weeks.
No, that would be the problem for me, and I agree.
So the long distance for me, it's just not working. But I take a little while to warm up. I'm just not that girl that's just gonna bump into the bed because you're hot and you're sexy and you're smart. It usually takes 3 months to really know somebody. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what, after 3 dates, you totally know who somebody is.
You think just 3?
You know what? I have found the questions that I ask, maybe they just expose the truth of them. And I talk to them a lot on the phone, and I guess this texting stuff has become a reality, which I absolutely positively hate.
Yeah.
And I'm not into the mindless little chit chat. Like, what are you doing today? Like, don't.
How about the guys that just right away go, hey, you want to grab a drink? What? Like, they just like you and then say, I find that so disrespectful. What? Because you liked my pictures, you think like we're going to be aligned and have a drink?
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand that.
We're going to get along really good. How do you know? You don't know anything about me. But you know what? We're also both on social media. So like you check on Google, they probably check on us a little bit too. They probably see my fitness videos.
Oh, no, I scrubbed my shit.
You do what?
I hired a company that scrubbed my shit.
What's scrub mean?
Like I used to have like 2 pages of, if you Googled my name, it was like 2-3 pages. You could make a company.
Girlfriend, I have thousands of pages.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Thousands. I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. So here's why I scrubbed. I knew I was going to be doing this podcast, and I'm respectful of family. And so, they're not linked to me and things like that. So it was with purpose, not that I have anything to hide.
Yeah.
It was just out of respect. I know, for example, I might have been involved in some charities. And if I'm on a platform being real and talking like fucking shit and, dicks and, vaginas, it's not a good image for the particular charity that I was with. So I gracefully stepped back on that journey, but let me ask you, let's talk about boundaries in the bedroom.
Okay.
Are you, okay. So like, a lot of I talked about this with someone else. So I had a guy in his 60s, and he was single a lot longer than me. And I'm going to just be vulnerable and put this out there. Well, let me just retract that. I'm going to talk about me. And listen, did I have fun after my divorce in my 30s and I had the rocking body? Yeah. Did it include going to some like specialty clubs, let's just call it? Never more than one dick. Just let's keep that clear in the picture here. But you know what? I have a little bit of a free soul, and I subscribe, like, yes and no. Like one time, oh my God. So when I was single and I did hire, this is funny. I hired this cause I was a busy single mom executive. Where am I going to meet a guy? Not at a bar. That I don't believe in bars. So, and I don't like being picked up in a bar. So, I joined this agency, paid whatever I paid because, I don't have time to find any good guys. Well, it wound up being the owner of the agency started dating me. And so I
figured that.
Yeah. So, a few times I was up in the Los Angeles area. I really worked in Newport Beach. Every time I had something I had to do, I would see him, sleep over, the hotel, whatever, and we had fun. So one day I don't have my kids on the weekend. Literally, I'm in the supermarket and he calls me and he goes, what are you doing this weekend? I go, nothing. I'm in the middle of just food shopping. He goes, you want to come join me in Vegas for the weekend? And for those of you that know, Vegas is like an easy trip if you live in California. I'm like, fuck yeah. Back then it was, I'm buying a ticket. It's going to be at the counter for you. So I packed my shit and I go. And the deal was I was going to fly and then drive back with him because he drove to Vegas.
Perfect.
Okay. So I get there, right? And all excited, our first night. Again, I never did I did do. So I get there our first night. It's not like the first date I've had with him. So we went out to a club. We had fun, whatever. He was really hot, by the way. And next thing I know, we get back to the room. Are you ready for this?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I know what you're going to say. No way.
No. He pulls out a strap-on.
I didn't know what you were going to say.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I thought I was open-minded, but I just was like so caught off guard. And I was just like, no. And let me just tell you, I left that night and I got on a flight and went home because that's what I mean about boundaries. It's interesting what people will slowly unveil about themselves and what they're into. I
had a similar experience.
Okay. What was yours that you're willing to share?
We'll just say this. It wasn't a strap on. It was a piece of glass.
Ooh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I heard those are pretty good, though.
It was for him.
Oh. So it's like a strap-on. It's basically
It's just
like a
a
strap-on.
strap-on.
What did you do?
I was like, I don't know. No, I was like, no. Like, no.
Did you hightail it out there like me?
No. I'm like, wrong girl. I just said wrong girl. You know, maybe I'm not your girl. He's, no, you're my girl. I'm like, oh.
No, not your girl.
Not your girl.
But again, I'm going back to that.
But for so many more reasons than just that.
Yeah, and usually it is. And, you know, one comment on that is what women don't really understand, and I think it might apply to a strong woman. So, one, men, just because a woman is beautiful and confident and successful, don't mistake that she doesn't want to be in your arms, and just like, let us just be feminine. And just because we're a powerhouse and successful, and, you know, I do want you to talk about, you know.
That's so important, making a woman feel like a goddess.
Yes.
I didn't even realize that I was missing my goddessness until I got asked to speak on a goddess panel. And I was like, you want me to speak on a goddess panel? Seriously, this is now going back 13 years ago with the longest running holistic expo in the entire world.
Wow.
I got asked to speak on a goddess panel, and I'm like the token jockette. You know, I mean, like, there's women who would look like butterflies, move like butterflies, are soft and, you know, all beautiful.
Yeah.
And they ask me to be on this. You know, I show up in my fitness attire, you know,
oh my
white.
God. Do people look at you? I wear nothing but workout clothes if I'm doing stuff. Do you find that people sometimes look at you sideways for wearing that, like a jealousy thing, or
I don't notice that.
I don't notice it either.
I actually don't notice anything.
No,
like,
but when I lived in California, I did. I find women here a lot. I don't know. Maybe I'm just oblivious to it. You know, that they're just like more accepting or not caring. I don't know what it is. But one thing I will tell you, women, don't think that us rocking 50-year-olds, and yeah, we're just going to say that because Becca is a rocking 50-year-old. She's not interested in your man. I'm not interested in your man. Just don't be intimidated by us. We like your friendship.
I love that. That is so important. And you know what, guys? When you're with a woman, girlfriend, or a wife, don't be eye-candying somebody else.
Oh my God. The worst thing.
That just pisses me off. That makes me feel so uncomfortable, and I feel so bad for your woman. Do not ever. Yeah. You make her feel like the goddess.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there is nothing worse. If that was one of the things I noticed with my late husband on our first date, and thereafter, he never turned his head.
My ex-husband always. As a matter of fact, I think he broke his neck while we were running down the beach one time, and this woman with humongo. Yeah. Like, he literally turned around. We're engaged. I'm like,
red flag.
First, no, I didn't. You know what? First intimidation mode inside my body, and just kept going on and on and on until I really lost myself.
Well,
that will never happen
Here's the
again.
problem with Becca and I. We could keep going on and on. But Becca, I want you to talk about, you have this thing about your reset quiz. Can you talk about that and how it applies here and what we've been talking about?
Absolutely. So where you are, where you want versus where you want to be. We all have gaps in our lives. There's 5 different areas that I work on, and some that I send out to other people. But we have our life, which is your health, which is your business, your home life, your career, there's 10 different archetypes within each area. Then you have your health, what you're eating, how you sleep, your sex life, your healing, all that stuff. There's 10 in there. You're creative. Most clients that I find are waning down on their creativity.
What do you mean?
They're not spending time in doing things that make them happy, whether it's arts and crafts or gardening or going to shows or reading. So this quiz, and then there's the soul code, say it 10 times fast, and relationships. Relationship with yourself, with your spouse, with your children, with mentors, your relationship in your community. So there's 10 different archetypes in each area. You weigh yourself between a 1 to a 10. It takes 3 minutes. It's so brilliantly done because I would coach people and it would take 3, 4, 5 hours. If you ever talk to a therapist, you know, you don't get down into the dirt in the first conversation.
No.
I get down in the dirt in the very first conversation because You fill it out. I know exactly where you are in each of your areas. I can see your lows. I can see your highs. And most of the time people are not happy inside. And so they project it around the people who are in their life.
Meaning what?
Meaning you're not happy in your spouse, with your spouse. You're not happy in your job. You're not happy. But mostly you're not happy with yourself because you haven't been attending to these things that make you feel good.
Which is going back to what we were talking about. When I'm not a mom and I'm not a wife, our identity, who am I? You know, and that falls into that category of answering 100%. All those things.
And that's where everything else blooms out. It doesn't matter whether it's your life, your health, your creativity, your relationships, or your spirit. If you are not attending to things that are really in your subconscious, important, you are not going to you're not going to attain your level of success. And I'm not talking about money, and I'm not talking about relationships. I'm talking purely about how you feel about yourself and your life. And that is non-negotiable.
She stepped on the word, non-negotiable. Nicole, I drop hints. You have to understand, Nicole, in bedroom confessionals, I've dropped hints about non-negotiable list versus variable list. That's going to be for another time. Now, the quiz that Becca is talking about is going to be linked, just like the products that she's talking about, on my website. So they will have access to it.
Completely free. Yeah, it's completely free.
Not the bands. Let's be clear. The bands are not free.
Neither am I.
Yeah. No,
not cheap, not free.
No. Yeah. And in closing, what this all summarizes is whether it's sex, understanding who you are, your identity, loving yourself again, you have to go through all these journeys in order to be successful in dating. And so for those of you out there that feel deflated or like, it's the same shit dating pool, which, by the way, it is the same shit dating pool here in Boca. I'm sorry, but it is. But, so again, I don't talk about my dating life, so I won't go there.
I don't know that it's such a shit pool. I just don't think I found somebody yet.
And you know what? I have to tell you, the same guys now that I see, I mean, maybe not now because I'm on a platform, but, it literally on one app, and I usually only use one app, it's the same guys from 2 years ago. It's the same pool. So you have to figure out other ways.
So maybe we have to go out to California in the mountains.
Not only that, but it goes back to talking about real quick about what you said about finding out what makes you happy. I've talked to my daughter about this. Sometimes you got to also find a way to be with like-minded people. That's another tip for dating. If you enjoy cooking, go to cooking classes, meet people there.
I love that.
Right? If you enjoy wine tasting, there are
that goes into your creative code and habits.
Yes.
You can kill two birds with one stone.
Yes, you can. And so, there are so many tools out there other than dating apps, but it goes back to that. And, having Becca on this episode of 50's AF has been enlightening. And, we are not just done here because we barely, as I told you, we got through 2 out of 5 topics, by the way, just to give you an idea.
That's true.
And I kept it a little clean for her. But, because you did, because you have corporate clients. And that was me holding back a little bit, but it was a little saucy, a little this, a little that, but also.
I'm bringing you chocolate milk next time.
I don't do chocolate.
You don't do chocolate?
No, I know. I'm the only girlfriend of my friends that doesn't do dark chocolate. I just don't. Yeah,
I love dark chocolate.
I get whatever.
I love sucking on dark chocolate.
I like sucking on other things than dark chocolate, personally. I actually, to end this note, I love giving blowjobs. A lot of women which I don't understand. Why do guys have this feeling that women don't like it? I'm going to end on that note, and we'll answer it. Becca, in closing, do you have anything you want to say further before we say adieu?
Yeah, I think it's just to sum it all up. Women, you need to love yourself first. You need to spend the time, do the work. Don't hop from one guy to the other. Take the time to be by yourself, understand who you are, what you want, and feel good about yourself. And it's not your body size. It's what goes on right inside. Your perspective is everything, and you have every day, every chance to reset.
I love that. I love the reset concept because reset doesn't mean you're damaged.
No.
I like that. And it's, a lot of women feel deflated. So thank you for sharing. And, everybody, she is a dynamo and she is a great person, a great soul. And I could definitely see why you are a life coach and the things you do. But I feel you're also very much an inspiration to me and the things you accomplish. And so with that, it won't be the end of us.
Thank you. And I feel the same about you.
Well, with that, a little clink of tequila. We're going to say goodbye. And this is Nicole Chattis, your host of 50's AF. And we will keep coming on. And Becca, we will be seeing you again. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank
Cheers,
you so much
baby.
for having me. Bye-bye, you guys.
My pleasure.